All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Ashley. This is my book. We're going through it. This is book club. If you don't have the book, that's okay. You'll still get a lot out of it because I'll explain exactly what we're talking about. We are on chapter 4. So your recharge list. And this is all about your energy, your emotional energy, mental energy, a little bit physical, but not as much physical. It's all tied together though. So obviously the physical energy is the easiest one to recharge, or I shouldn't say easy, but simplest because we know the answer, food and rest and water. Um, the mental and emotional energy, though, that can be a little bit trickier to figure out how to recharge. So it's a very short chapter, as most of them are on purpose, because it's meant to be kind of a working model. So today we're going to talk through creating that list. Does anyone already have a list going? If you've been in some of my classes or heard me talk before, you might have your list going already of the things and the people who recharge you. Does anyone already have somewhat of a list? Yeah, we
I
got
don't have it with me, but I do. I did start to write down things that what would recharge me, and it was something I never thought about until I read that section. And I was like, oh my goodness. I'm like, yeah, I really need to concentrate and figure out what is going to recharge me and almost power charge me quickest. So
Do you want
thanks.
to share anything that you can remember from your list?
I'm in the car. I don't have it, but I do know a cup of tea and just walking away was like um on it. And I also know it was just it's gonna sound so silly, but pretend I'm on the phone and just walk out of the group. Like I have to take this call and just give myself the space that I need. So,
That doesn't sound silly at all. I do that all the time. Don't tell anyone.
oh good. Oh
Not like we're
good.
recording this and putting it on YouTube, but um, yeah, fake phone calls, fake have to go to the bathroom. Yeah, just tools to get out of there. But that can really do a number, like in a good way, that can be very helpful to know that you have an out. It can take the pressure off. In any situation, no matter where you are, you always have an out. So thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. Susie,
I have a question. Do you consider recharging and relaxing the same thing or no?
I would say so. Yeah,
Okay.
I would say so. There might be some nuances there, but I wouldn't get too hung up on the label. It's more just what's going to make you feel more energized afterwards.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
I find just like sort of having like a quiet space and like meditating or suntanning like for like 15 minutes on my balcony. Those things work. Just quietness.
Yeah. Not all of us can suntan, but I get your point. Getting that vitamin D hit and just being outside, that's huge. I hear that a lot, actually. Most people have some sort of aspect of being in nature on their list. So that's awesome. I actually need to go outside today. I haven't been outside yet today, and I feel it. So I gotta do that after this call. I'm gonna put on my swimsuit, I'm gonna go down to the pool, find a shade, be down there for a half hour or so. So excellent. So let's talk through the importance of the list and what to do with the list once you have it. And then I want to hear some more examples and take questions. So the importance of the list is to put things from the list into your calendar before your appointments. That's the key. And before anything else you're doing, that is really important. It's not just appointments, but your most important things in your business and in your life. Look at them ahead of time on the calendar, and then look at what else you have on the calendar right before and ask, do I need to take something out of this day and move it somewhere else? Do I need to pop in something from my recharge list? It really is meant to be a tool. Like, what from this physical list can I fit into this time frame, both with time and financial budget constraints, right? If you only have half hour, you can't go on a vacation. But what can I pop in there that will give me that boost? And Arlene, I think you had said this word or phrase, something that's like the most efficient, what's going to power you the fastest. So important. Because if you're crunched for time, that's important to like get that quick hit.
Exactly. So like I did try to tweak the calendar and do 45 minutes and then keep the 15 as buffer zone and then start the next 45 minutes. So
How has that
I don't
been
know if it's
working?
so far so good. I got to be honest, I was traveling, so I really didn't get a full analysis yet.
All right, it's a process. I like that though, adding buffer time, that's important. That's important. So that's why it's important. That's what you do with the list. You take it, you use it for the purpose of structuring your calendar in a very purposeful way. And then the flip side is after anything that's draining your energy, putting something from the recharge list into the calendar right afterwards. Because if you don't, then it's easy for something to drain and then to just keep going, keep going, keep going, then you're done. Cheryl.
Yeah, I use this to really structure my morning. And, one of my, if you've ever read the book, Eat the Frog, one of my frog pieces that I don't love doing is calling FISBOs and expireds, but it's something that I do. And I made sure to put that first thing so I can just eat the frog and be done and then do something that I enjoy right afterwards. So it's helped me to just really not avoid it and not procrastinate and then eventually not do it. So it's helped.
Good. Good. I have heard of that book. Hopefully everyone else has as well. If you haven't, check it out. Eat the Frog. It's a very simple concept, but very powerful. And I do think that there's a lot of, I don't think I know because I've experienced it myself. There's a lot of wasted energy that happens when we procrastinate. Then we're just like avoiding the thing and talking ourselves out of it. And all of that is just a massive waste of energy. And it's so hard not to do it. But I think seeing it as wasteful might be a helpful mindset to try to avoid it. Like, do I really would I waste this much resource if it were money? Would I be lighting hundreds of dollars on fire? Probably not. But we do that when we procrastinate. I'm including myself in this. I have my to-do list and got to prioritize it. All right, who else has something they'd like to share on this topic or a question?
I just with regards to this topic, because the eat the frog scenario, like I also read the book and then like I started implementing it, and then I was like, oh gosh, every morning I wake up now and the first thing I'm doing is something I don't like. So like I still like do the concept because it's like doing something, like in terms of work at least, like the first and most important task. But what you're saying now, like, makes so much sense because I was actually implementing it already before I ate the so-called frog. Like, I would start my morning, like, do something I like play table tennis or go for a walk outside or whatever it is. So get the energy up. And then I would go and eat the frog, so to speak. And I just love the way you've put it because I was actually doing that already with the morning, but like I wasn't doing it throughout the day. So like it's really awesome, like color coding and like get the energy uppers because yeah, like you say, introverts can be get like the noise. So I really like the idea of recharging before you get you putting an getting an input before you get an out before you like get drained with the output, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. We have this tool. It's just a matter of looking at it through that lens and treating it like the tool that it is. What else is on everyone's recharge list? This is an easier share than next week when we're talking about what's draining your energy.
And I'll share again. I do recall that I had just driving down, I have a pier very close to me, and I just go see the water. And I go see, it's just a very nice drive, and I'll either take the bicycle or I will drive down. And it just is like the breath of fresh air, but you transform yourself. So it works out so nicely.
That. That's a good one because it's free and it's nature and you can spend as much or as little time as you have available. That's excellent.
Well,
Um,
mine is not free or nature,
Okay.
but I live in Texas. I have a Bucky's near me. I don't know if y'all know a Bucky's.
No.
Anyway, it's literally like a mile and a half for me, and they have the longest car wash. Ours has the longest car wash in the US. So I literally, when I'm super stressed or things are crazy, I will go and get my car washed and just sit there. And sometimes I have music on, sometimes not, but that just kind of gives me some like time to recharge and regroup. And then once I'm out, I'm like, okay, my car is clean, my head is clean, and I can go again. So that's what I do. Gets expensive on those really stressful days, but it is what it is.
Really cool. I have to ask now, how long is this car wash?
It's like 3 minutes and something seconds. So it's like a full length song, basically. But yeah, it's pretty great in my opinion.
That sounds great. And here's the beauty of it. We can all have different things.
Yes.
And that I think I would enjoy that, but we don't have anything like that here. Our car washes are like a minute or 60 seconds. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. Susie, what you got?
Um, well, I didn't think of music, so I'm glad Sheila mentioned music. So I just added that to my list. Thanks, Sheila. And I'm similar to Arlene. I like to go for a walk. I have a lake that's right beside me in my community, Lake Norman. And so I like to go there, and I find that very relaxing to look out at the lake. And I like to pet my dogs and also soak in the tub. I find soaking in the tub more relaxing. That's why I was asking earlier if relaxing and recharging were, this about the same, because that's one of my, that's,
Well,
that's one thing.
after your tub, do you feel more energized? Do you feel like you have more oomph
Not
in you?
necessarily energized, just relaxed. So I guess it's more like the activity and think of how I feel afterwards.
Yeah,
Okay. Thanks for clarifying that for me.
yeah, of course. And that's a good nuance, which I haven't actually really thought about. So if you wouldn't probably want to do something so relaxing before a listing appointment. That's like That's the key indicator. Think about what would make you feel like really just replenished and recharged and like the fullest version of yourself before you go and meet with a seller. That's like my best example for that. So in that
Perfect.
way, maybe being too relaxed might not be good. And that's also a really important aspect of being a healthy, full human.
Yeah.
So we need all the parts.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Great nuance. I'm going to rewrite the book now and add that. Need a new chapter. Version 2.0. All right, I'm going to read what we have in the comments here. Sandwich the frog with two things that energize you. Yes, absolutely. Sudoku. How have I never heard of Bucky's? Is that fast food? Is that?
No, it's a car wash. I mean,
Oh,
it's
that's
a
the
gas
name of the
station.
car wash. Okay.
Well, it's a gas station.
Okay.
And I grew up south of here, and it started in a little town called Lake Jackson. And it was literally just a car wash, just a regular car wash. Well, as time went on, they started building these huge gas stations that not only have gas, but they have really good food, they have clothing, they have gifts. Like it's a whole thing.
Whole thing. Wow.
And some of them have car washes, ours does.
Okay.
But funny story. So my sister is the one that said something about, have you been to Bucky's? And I looked at her like, what? Like we grew up going to Buc-ee's. Like our town had two on either side, but they were literally just gas stations. And I said, "Why are you talking about Buc-ee's? That is so weird." She goes, "No, you have to go. Like they've built these really big gas stations." I thought she was crazy, but I was traveling somewhere and I saw one. I thought, okay, I go in and I was like, what? It's like this massive mall almost. And everyone in there is super friendly, super helpful. They have the cleanest bathrooms. That's their claim to fame, basically. They have the cleanest bathrooms. They have people in there constantly cleaning the bathrooms to make them nice and clean. And buses stop there, and it's a whole thing. So anyway, it's a gas station
It
slash
sounds like so much more.
amazing
Everyone's in
place.
the comments, like the bathroom can be overwhelming. All right, well, I guess I need to take a road trip and go
Yeah, when you come to Austin, there's one in Bastrop, which is not that far. You could go check it out.
Okay,
Yeah.
love it. Oh my goodness, so many different things. So my challenge for each of you is to make your list as long as possible. Like go nuts and have it. Where does everyone have their lists, by the way? Is it in the notes app on your phone? Is it in a Google Doc or a piece of paper? Where you can come off mute or pop it in the chat.
I
No,
put
no.
mine in the notebook.
Okay, that works. In my book, okay, that could work. I want it somewhere accessible to you though. So I'd recommend do whatever works for you, and I would probably recommend something that you can get to easily on your phone. Notes app is great, Word doc or Google Doc that you have on your phone. And that way, because when you're out and about and you're scheduling things, that way you can reference it easily and go back to, okay, I need to. At some point, after years of practice doing this, you'll kind of internalize it. You won't need to reference the list anymore. But in the beginning, it's helpful to see everything. There's so much going on in my head and in probably your heads too. Like it's impossible to remember everything. That's why I have a running shopping list on my notes app on my phone. I have running lists for everything because that way I don't have to worry about trying to remember it all. And it's almost leveraging your brain power. What other questions or comments do we have about this recharge list concept?
Can I ask, does the recharge list change or does it have you like you've looked at this for a while? So like I'd assume that it would change and it might like some things no longer
Yeah.
or some things you add. I mean, I know you can always add because I'm trying to add as many.
Yeah, it changes. You can add, can subtract, you can adjust.
But you don't find like if I like really start to do the same thing over, is it going to get me to a point where that's not going to trigger the energy that I want? Is what
Hmm.
I guess that's where my mind is going. I'm just curious.
That's possible. I guess it depends what it is.
Yeah, what the activity is.
Yeah. But there are outside factors, like for instance, let's say one of the things on your list is a specific exercise class or a yoga class or something. And maybe the instructor changes or the time changes or something changes, and then all of a sudden it doesn't have the same effect on you anymore. That's okay. It's just
Oh,
good to be
okay.
aware of.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I
Or
can
maybe you
appreciate.
change. Maybe you're like, you know what, I don't, or you have an injury, or it's just not providing the same results.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, great question. I'm so glad we're doing this. Thank you all for being here and participating because it really does bring these concepts to life, talking through them versus just reading a silly book that some redhead wrote. Brings it to life. All right, what else? What other thoughts or questions on this? How would everyone rate their lists currently, 1 through 10? Put it in the chat. 10 is I have completely nailed this exercise. My document is awesome. It includes both activities and people. Cheryl, you have your hand up. What's up?
Well, I was just going to say, and I know you already kind of mentioned this. I love that you said once a year, go through and remove anything that's no longer recharging you in the way that it should. And I think the thing that's important about that, and you just mentioned it with the yoga instructor, is it can change. And what used to be something that was a good thing can all of a sudden be something that drains you and vice versa. So just to keep assessing that and really looking at that.
Yeah.
Loved that. Thanks.
Totally. Of course. All right, I'm seeing a lot of 5s. We got a 6. We got a 1. Oh, Teresa, let's help you with your 1. Okay. What would make these 5s and 6s higher? Is it just taking the time to add more things, or is it utilizing the lists in a more purposeful way? Let's talk it out, and let's give Teresa some encouragement and advice as well.
Actually, I've missed a couple of these sessions, so I'm just a bit behind. So I need to get
Okay.
going on my list. So
All right, this is each of you are on your own journey, your own time frame. Find the time to tackle the list. Yeah. It does take time, and it's creating a new habit of just that awareness, and then taking the awareness and putting it on paper, quote unquote, even if it's electronic paper, and then going back and reviewing it. So it's a lot of habits that are being created at the same time. So what if everyone put in their calendar right now a half-hour time block, maybe even 15-minute time block at some point in the next week to really spend some time thinking about this? Maybe go into your calendar now and do that. Where can you find a half hour to think about this and write some things down? Yay. Awesome. All right. Good work. Next week, we're talking about draining activities and people. We didn't talk too much about people today, but people can energize you as well. So feel free to put individuals on your list. You don't have to tell them. You don't have to share this with anyone. It's just for you. All right, Brandon's been working on this the past few weeks. Awesome. Yeah, it's a living, breathing document. So it's never going to be like done, but you can at least get it to a point where you have a good variety of things on there. All right, fantastic. Those of you who are members of the Quiet Success Club, I will see you at 4 Eastern. And if you're not and you're interested, let me know, because we'd love to have you. That's more group coaching. That's more ask specific questions about your clients and your leads and your deals and your life. And we go through those very specific things for our members. So, all right, I'm going to wrap this up unless anyone has any last thoughts or questions. I need to go outside. It's open to everyone, but it is a paid membership. So it's $95 a month. It's a great value, and we meet every week. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.